KSM Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, aka the girl them sugar, aka Sugar Daddy, aka Mr. Lover Man. Right now, you're watching the KSM Show. Don't go nowhere. Let's go.
We're back. And you used to be with the trust.
Yeah, I was with the trust for 12 years.
For 12 years?
Yeah, as a general manager of the facility. But before then, I was the medical director for Central Regional Hospital, Cape Coast.
Okay.
In Taberton. But I had worked in a district hospital for 10 years before I did my postgraduate and then started my journey.
And the fact that you were chosen to be the CEO of UGMC says a lot about the track record that you've had. 30 years in hospital management. That's
I worked 30 years, but I've managed hospital for 22 years out of the 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's still.
That is 4 years in the district and then 4 years in the region, 12 years at the Trust Hospital, and 2 years already at UGMC.
It's been 2 years already.
Yeah. Yeah, and still counting.
And still counting. I hear you. So let's get into. So it's one of the centers for COVID.
Yeah.
The first question, the kinds of devastation that we saw COVID had on the US, Spain, UK, and we all freaked out, when they said there were a few cases in Ghana, because we're all anticipating those kind of numbers, to escalate. Somehow, it wasn't as devastating. Is it something that you've researched into? Why? Was it just luck? What happened?
Well, I think overall the task force they have done well. The mere fact that in the center COVID treatment is free says a lot, because if finances had become a hindrance to treatment, then people would have stayed in the community, and then the spread would have been devastating. But the fact that you could walk in, test, and be treated for free was motivating enough for people to submit themselves to care. And again, in the beginning, there was a lot of stigmatization, and then people were not willing to be branded COVID. Because I'm sure at that time, if you had a COVID person standing in front of your studio, you ran away. And
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Now, people have embraced the fact that COVID has come to stay. They are reporting on time. We are not discriminating against people who get it. So, on the whole, I'm sure it's getting better. But I must say, in the beginning, when UGMC was mentioned as a treatment center, it was very scary. Scary because how do you convince your staff who were supposed to manage these cases? How ready were we to stand this? And the place has not been designed as an infectious center, where in centers of that nature, it has been designed such that we have the dirty and clean areas, and the movement of staff have been designed such that people are safe. So really, leadership was called to at that time that you needed to be stronger than the people you are managing and come out with a strategy that will be embraced by all. We organized ourselves, and Ghana East was the first place that was mentioned as a treatment center. So they had started earlier. So we, together with the management, doctors and staff, we traveled to Ghana East in a bus just to observe their experience, the patient experience, the staff experience, and what they are doing to save themselves. So we came back and also got a ward, and then we actually designed the care so that our staff will be safe, and then we'll also make sure that the patients are cared for. In the beginning, nobody wanted to submit.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but
the
really,
stigma was very high then.
I mean, the staffs were scared. So we got people to volunteer, and really, I must commend them. We got 20 doctors coming up that they will devote themselves for COVID treatment.
Wow.
And about 50.
Show them some love, man. Wow.
And about 50 nurses and other staffs who were trained. So these persons specifically are there, constantly managing COVID. And some of these doctors stay there 72 hours without going home.
72 hours?
Yes, that's because the timetable was such that they come and stay there 3 days, and others take over 3 days. The same thing with the nurses. And I must commend the ICU nurses and task force. People come to ICU, and ICU, intensive care unit, is saying that patients are cared for, and they are on the ventilator sometimes for 3 weeks, day and night, and you can't leave them. So the doctors were virtually sleeping there, monitoring these patients. And I'm happy to say the mortality was very low. Out of all the patients that we've seen over 400 patients, and if you compare the mortality from our end, and even then, those who came to die were coming in late, and they were referred from places, and their conditions were not very strong. No. So on the whole, I think we prepared. We defined the care path clearly, and we got committed, dedicated people who really didn't care. I must say that we have had some casualties, though. Some of our staffs got COVID, about 41. 41 of them? Yeah, of our staffs. But got so good, none of them went into critical condition, and they are all doing well. We never panicked, and then we didn't come out to scare the public.
You have to control everything.
We tried very much to contain it, and we are still going.
Wow, fantastic. I'm just curious, how many doctors volunteered? 50, do you say?
However, we have many doctors, but we got 20 who were specifically for COVID.
Okay.
So, normally, if you have the medical officers, you tend to have some who are in the obstetrics, gynecology area, the general surgery medicine. But these ones, for all this period, they are not rotating anywhere. They are in the COVID ward.
So were they handpicked, or they volunteered and said, we want to do this?
Well, we got it to be, first of all, to be volunteers, and then we were overwhelmed. Yeah. And I must say, I'm very grateful for the kind of attitude that they show during these difficult times. Yeah.
Wow. I'm just trying to think, because in the height of the stigma and all the stories, I'm trying to find the profile of somebody who would say, I want to commit to this.
And I must say that I was there. I was with them every day, because I never wanted a situation where they will feel that. So Sundays, Saturdays, every day.
You were there?
I was there. And I think the height of it were during the lockdown period. So I was there. I stayed with them maybe up to 8 o'clock in the evening. So that kind of motivation also psyched them up. And it was necessary at that time.
Yeah.
It was necessary, yeah.
I can imagine, because if the CEO is there with you, then you know that the commitment must be high.
Yeah,
Everybody is.
And not, there asserting yourself as the manager, but, cracking jokes and making sure that we are all in this together. And this is the last stop. Everybody is looking at us. And so you heard about some ministries at that time when 1 or 2 people get it, they close the whole place down. And then I asked myself, so if we should close this down,
What's going to happen here?
Yeah, so
I mean, you are committed, it's your profession, you've studied doctoring medicine,
Yeah.
You want to save lives. What about your wife, kids, and things?
Did
you have any?
That was the challenge.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the challenge, because anytime you are stepping out, they were very uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
They were not sure what you are going to bring home. But it was difficult getting them to understand that you are a leader, and in times like this, you cannot turn your back, but you also at that time needed to be extra careful, so that you don't bring disaster to your home. So we tried very much to take all the necessary precautions, and then make sure that, and the point is, how careful can you be in times of COVID? Most people are still struggling to identify how they got it. People have sanitizers with double masks, and they
still get it.
So really, I would say some of us were lucky. I don't even know whether I got the asymptomatic and I'm now okay. You never know. But you know what? I never tested.
You never tested?
Yeah, but I never got anything that falls within the case definition. For me to suspect that.
You have it?
No. Because no sore throat, no temperature, nothing. My taste was good. My smell was good. So
you feel good?
Yeah, I felt good. Life went on.
So I just want to imagine the kind of conversations you have with your wife. So,
it was a challenge. Anytime you are stepping out, you are cautioned, and you come home, you won't have to wash your hands out there. Sometimes they want you to undress out there before you enter. But
so those social distance at home, I guess.
I mean, you have to. I mean, it was challenging, but I mean, we've gone past that, and we don't know whether.
And I know that the UGMC is being set up as a special hospital. They gave me the word. I think.
Yeah, quaternary.
Quaternary, yes.
Yeah.
Which means it's
subspecialties.
Subspecialties.
Yeah, medicine has developed so much. If you look at the history, around the Second World War, 45, then we have general practice, where doctors are trained as general practitioners, and quickly they must be able to do everything. Surgery. And then gradually we start getting specialists. Either you are a general surgeon, or you are internist or pediatrician or obstetric gynecology. Now, within these generic disciplines, there are subspecialties. Now, the general surgeon who does everything generally have developed to subspecialty. The doctor in charge of the kidney, in charge of the liver, the heart, the lungs. And so these are the subspecialties that goes beyond the generic, and it is quaternary. So we are advancing in medicine, and we want to have the various subspecialties, and so that when the general surgeon sees you and says that, look, this problem is your liver, so go
to liver.
The surgeon in charge of liver. it is an improvement. It's an advancement, which means people are good in what they do specifically. And so this is what defines subspecialties.
Okay. Okay. So that the idea is to turn UGMC to a quaternary
Subspecialty. It has three major objectives here. Service, that is the normal hospital diagnosis and treatment, and then training of specialists, and then research, operational and transformational research, and we are trying hard not to downplay any of these major objectives. And so this is what we are working on all these years. Yeah.
Okay. So basically it's now fully operational, or you're still building
it
up?
It was in two phases.
Okay.
The phase one was completed, and then in 2017 it was commissioned by the former president, John Mahama. And then the phase two, the parliament passed extra money for it. Phase two has all to do with phase one. There are a lot of things that you start from in phase one and it cannot be completed. So April next year, the phase two will be done. And so then, but that notwithstanding, there are certain disciplines that are functioning now. The obstetricians are there, the gynecologists are there, they are working very hard. We have the pediatricians also there. We have the family physicians. We have the urologists in charge of men. And then we have the general surgeons as well as the cardiothoracic surgeons and then cardiologists. All of them are functioning now. And we are also doing the preventive care. You can walk in and do your medicals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just a walk-in. You walk in and you want to do your medicals.
Yeah, we will not prevent anybody from coming to check his status.
Okay.
Because then we would have denied care.
So folks, this is very, very important. You can just walk in and check your medicals, because maybe you're clean, and that's good to know. Yeah. Maybe there's something that you never know that can be detected, and early detection is the key to checkups.
Yeah.
So is there like a program? I know you had a program at SNIT.
Yeah, they call it 4 for Men, and then Well Woman.
Okay. So you're doing the same thing at UGMC?
Well, similar. I mean, the content of preventive medicine will not differ.
What about costs? I'm sure.
We are very cost conscious because the building is scary to most people. So if you are not careful, so we have done a lot of analysis, compare the market prices, and we are about 10-15% lower than most.
Really?
Of the yes.
Lower than?
Yeah, we are. I'm sure about that.
Wow. What's the staff strength like right about now?
The staff strength, first of all, we had to engage all the directors of the various areas. And then we got, because it's a specialized hospital, we needed a lot of the specialists, which we have now. And then even for the nurses, the nurses will need the special nurses, like critical care, cardiology nurses, midwives, nurses in charge of intensive care, and then emergency nurses. These are the priority areas, even though we also have some general nurses, but because it's a specialist hospital, then these days the nurses and other staffing also have trained to specialize in areas. So the focus had been, so for now we have about 500 staffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Doctors and nurses, and as phase two it's completed, we will need more of the specialists as well as the specialists.
And the goal is to make it a quaternary for West Africa?
Yeah, we are looking beyond Ghana.
Okay.
Because medical tourism now is the order of the day. And everybody needs care. But the outcome of the care is enough testimonial to give the vote of confidence to the public. And so you will not be rushing yourself calling out. We want to test and then get the culture and then the tradition very perfect. And then those who experience the care will reference us. And so really we are treading carefully and making sure that we are defining the care path of patients. We are taking their perspectives into consideration. I mean, every patient that comes to you wants to be seen quickly with respect and dignity. And that is what we are trying to train our people, that customer care aspect is so important. We have had enough of patients complaining. But that notwithstanding, we need to also consider the providers also, that they are also human beings. And they need to be trained and help them to build their competencies, the tools that they require to work with, the encouragement and motivation that they need. So the balancing here is not only to the external clients, but also the internal clients. And then they have managers also who will be looking more of how resources are used efficiently. And when we talk about effectiveness in healthcare, it is about the outcome that we experience. It is not the number of cases that you see.
The outcome of those
who get well. So when 100 people come to you and 95 of them get well, then you are effective.
Yeah.
But if 95 still continue coming every day, to you, you are working very hard, but you are not efficient. So these are the things that we are working at and making sure that we get it right.
Okay. 2 quick areas before we let you go. The numbers of COVID cases being reported, what's your analysis? Is it a big improvement going on, or moderate, or what?
I mean, we were overwhelmed to the point that, we have to discharge patients before we could take in more. That was about 2 months ago. And now we are not seeing that. I cannot sit here and give you any reason, but the objectivity is that the cases are not as it used to be.
Yeah. Wow. Doc, get personal here. What do you do for fun when you're not healing COVID patients?
I'm an Arsenal supporter, and then football is what we watch.
Oh,
but
you watch?
Unfortunately, my team is one of the teams that disappoints anytime.
So that's your main thing?
Yeah, and also I'm a social being. I have very good friends, and presently you are very careful. You don't want to visit anybody for him to say, Dr. Nibekumio. You cannot careful. After your visit, somebody dies, and then it's the probability that COVID man.
I used to go for walks in front of every morning. Hey, don't go past there anymore. Like I was even at risk walking in front of the hospital. That was the extent of the stigmatization. What about wife and family?
Well, I have my wife is also a doctor.
Oh, she's a doctor.
Yeah, and then I have.
Then luckily for you, there's more understanding.
Yeah, even though the challenge was there, she understood the purpose of the work. And I have 3 daughters.
Okay.
The first girl is also a doctor.
Oh, really?
And then I have the second one is a pharmacist. And then the last one is aspiring lawyer, preparing to write her the Ghana school.
Yeah. What are their names?
And then she is also a writer and a voiceover artist. Maybe one day I will let her come and see you.
Yes.
She's very good. She writes well, and she has recorded some few voiceovers for some stations.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Is your wife at UGMC too?
No, my wife is a deputy director research, Ghana Health Service.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a PhD in research.
Doctors in Kwan and a lawyer be there.
Emma Kwan.
Show some love there. So folks, so this preventive health thing is an open door. You can go in any day.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So folks, as the University of Ghana Medical Center, you can walk in any day, go get your checkups, and at least know that you are okay. And if you're not, maybe it's early enough to clear what is not making you okay. Your final words, Doc?
We should be very much aware of our health conditions. And as you are growing, things will never be the same. And if you have the opportunity, you check your status at least once in a year. In fact, in other countries, it is compulsory to do your medicals to your employer.
Yeah.
But here, even though most organizations have that policy, implementing it is difficult. But your destiny is in your own hands. And then it is good for you to check your status. UGMC is there. If you want to check your medicals, can walk in and do your annual medicals, where almost every vital, including your all organs and its functioning, will be taken care of. For women, we check your cervical status as well as your breasts after 40 years. And for men, your prostate status, your BP, and then your sugar levels. These are the major areas that sends us first to the other part of the world.
Fantastic. One more time. Thank you very much for tuning in this evening. I'm sure you've learned a lot. And most importantly, please do your checkups. Very, very, very important. Take it from an old man who knows that if you miss one or two, you might not like the results, man. So, Doctor, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
So that brings us to the end of another fantastic show. And please follow up on your checkups. Very, very important. So until we come back next week, KSM signing off as I always do in the words that I've always used. I am out of, let the whole world say, here.